Today we're going to be making some comets, or some small models of them anyway, using things that you'll find around the house and one or two extra special ingredients. Our first ingredient is water. We find this everywhere on Earth, and one of the main sources we think of the water on Earth is from melting comets. They're like giant dirty snowballs, so we leave them to melt and get water. Our next ingredient is sand. Now sand is a silicate, so it's small particles of rock, and we find these small particles of rock on comets as well, and these are actually left behind comets as they travel through space too. Number 3 is carbon. Now this is ground up charcoal. It's exactly the same as what you find if you burn your toast in the morning, or compressed into diamonds, or maybe in the lead of your pencil in the graphite. All the cells in your body and all life on Earth contain carbon. Our next ingredient is Worcester sauce. Now this is to represent organic molecules or amino acids, and these are the building blocks of life. These make up all the proteins in your body, and life as we know it on Earth wouldn't exist without amino acids. Then our final ingredient, I need some gloves because it is incredibly cold, down to about minus 78 degrees. This is what we're going to use to freeze our comet, and it's this stuff here. This is called dry ice. And this is frozen carbon dioxide, so it's not water ice. It's not what you would want to put in your drinks. But this stuff goes directly from a solid into a gas, so you'll never get a little puddle of liquid carbon dioxide. The gas is the same as what you breathe out. So this is going to freeze our comet really quickly, and means that we don't have to stick it in the freezer and leave it overnight. Our comet is going to be made in this plastic bag. First of all then, we need our water. That should do. Now we want our sand, or our silicates, so a little sprinkle of sand in there. Also makes our comet nice and crunchy. Our carbon. This is what gives it the dirty colour, so the kind of blackened appearance. That's why we call them dirty snowballs. Then we need our organic molecules, or our Worcester sauce. Makes our comet smell nice, represents our organic molecules, and is also not bad on cheese on toast. So we now have a comet puddle. It's still liquid, and to that we need to add our dry ice. But our dry ice is in pellets at the moment, so we need to break it up. We need to smash it up to something more like snow, which we can then make into our snowball. So for this I also need my safety goggles in case any bits of dry ice fly around. This stuff is about minus 78 degrees, so you do not want this on your bare skin. So there's one scoop. And 2 scoops. And that should be enough for our comet. So now we need to smash it to bits. I get to take out all my frustrations of the day with this hammer. So I think that's reasonably well smashed. So we want our comet back again. Our comet soup here, and then we need to add our dry ice, and then hopefully we should have our comet. So our dry ice goes in, and we need to give it a bit of a stir, mix it all together, and then squeeze. Okay, hopefully it's now all stuck together, frozen together, and we shall see if we have a comet. Okay, so here is our little model comet. This is much, much smaller than comets out in space. If you can imagine the biggest snowball you've ever made, then imagine a snowball as big as your house. But even bigger, we need to go to something maybe the size of a large city, several kilometers across before you get to the size of comets. As they travel around the sun, just like the planet that we're on and the rest of the planets in our solar system, they leave behind them a tail or a trail of debris. As stuff is melting off the surface of the comet, it's left behind it in space. When it gets closer to the sun, these tails get nice and bright. The further away from the sun it is, the less of a tail appears. You'll also see that there are two tails behind some comets. When they get close to the sun, a lot of the gas is blasted directly away from the sun, whereas the little bits of rock and dust are left behind the comet as it travels through space. Now, when the Earth runs into this trail of debris behind the comet, you then get shooting stars, you get a lot of shooting stars, you get meteor showers. So really good times to look out and see lots of these little bits of rock burning up as they come through our atmosphere. In a nutshell, that was our little comet. Very simple ingredients that we find here on Earth and we find up in space too.